Gentlemen, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Speaking during an interview with media houses on Sunday evening, President William Ruto hinted on his alternatives following the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024 due to public pressure.
This year, we are going to borrow 1 trillion shillings to be able to run our government. That's what it means. I have been working very hard to pull Kenya out of a debt trap.
However, members of the Finance and Budget Committees of the National Assembly are now faulting their plan to borrow more as the country is grappling with a huge public debt.
There's an act that should take precedence as things are. Ruto, they should ensure that that budget is reduced to around 3 trillion. We don't need a budget of 3.9 trillion if we can't manage it. 23-24, they only managed to collect 2.3 trillion, which means that we are running this country on a deficit. So therefore, we don't need a budget of 3.9 trillion. So these unconstitutional offices must be done away with. Members of Parliament, I don't support the fact that members of Parliament should be traveling. We should remain here in Kenya and sort all our problems here.
So an option of going again to come up with another finance bill is time-barred. It's time-barred. It should be done before 30th of June.
The Vice Chair of the Debt and Privatization Committee, Dr. Makali Mulu, now says any plans to borrow more will need Parliament approval and amendments to the debt management strategy.
Let him stop cheating to Kenya. And he wants to put the fear into our lives. But seriously, you know there's a document called medium-term debt strategy, which our Committee of Public Debt and Privatization approved. That's the document which approved the borrowing levels. It means if they have to come back to Parliament, there's a revision of the medium-term debt strategy.
Economic pundits also argue that there is need for the parliamentary committees to have a meeting with the National Treasury to formulate the way forward.
The reason why KRA has never met its target is there is such a big disconnect in terms of the process of budgeting, bringing everything into law, and implementation. It means that KRA has not been able to implement everything that has been said because some of them are not feasible. You know, the other disconnect I see, Chacha, is the way people do business in Kenya. Is there a research to know that by the time we are going to tax this sector, that this is actually what goes on and it is justifiable to tax, or are we taxing just to meet targets or just to be seen to be meeting targets?
There is need to have a meeting, a joint meeting between Finance and National Planning Committee and Budget and Appropriation Committee and Treasury. We sit down and see on areas that need to be touched by the supplies.
Meanwhile, in what happens not to take chances with different interpretations of the law, Kenyan Kennedy Wanyanga has moved to the courts seeking interpretation of whether President Ruto can legally withdraw a money bill. He fears that come 11th this month, the finance bill could automatically become an act, leading to public rage and more demonstrations. Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.